And I was curious for your reaction to the hard foul Caitlin Clark took last week, and then more broadly, if you have any concerns about her first couple weeks in the league.
I'll leave the specific question about the foul to my colleague, Commissioner Engelbert. I mean, I other than as a fan, obviously, it's nothing new in basketball that there's sort of welcome to the league moments, especially for heralded rookies. But of course, I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league. I would say it seems like she can take care of herself. She's a tough player.
Adam Silver is facing one of the biggest public backlashes of his career, and it's all centered around the rough treatment Caitlin Clark has been receiving in the WNBA. Fans are furious and pointing the blame squarely at the NBA commissioner, accusing him of turning a blind eye while chaos brews in the league. Social media has exploded with heated takes, and Silver's reaction has only added fuel to the fire. What do you think? Should Adam Silver step in and take control of the WNBA situation? Drop your thoughts below.
Well, folks, we've officially reached the point where Adam Silver is getting dragged.
All right, folks, we've officially reached peak Adam Silver dragging. He's getting roasted harder than a suitcase caught in airport security. And honestly, it's about time someone held him accountable for the absolute mess the WNBA has become under his watch. For those who might not know, as NBA commissioner, Adam Silver also oversees the WNBA. So, every issue, from how Caitlin Clark's been treated to the league's ongoing struggles, lands right on his plate. And trust me, fans aren't holding back when it comes to letting him know.
All right, tonight is the tip-off for the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is home court for reigning Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark and her team, the Indiana Fever. But the superstar will be sitting out this weekend after a groin injury earlier this week. Clark released a statement through the team saying she was sad to miss out on the game, but, quote, I have to rest my body. Let's bring in Ben Pickman now. He's a staff writer for The Athletic and host on The Athletic's women's basketball podcast, No Off Season. Look, Ben, I got to rest my body too, but I'm not anywhere near Caitlin Clark.
The latest chapter in this ongoing disaster started when Caitlin Clark had to sit out the All-Star game because of yet another injury, a groin strain. But here's the real issue. This wasn't a typical basketball injury. It came from players treating the game like full-contact football, roughing her up in ways that shouldn't be happening. Fans have reached their breaking point watching the league's biggest star repeatedly get hurt like this, and now their frustration is aimed straight at the top. Adam Silver has been cashing checks while the WNBA, his league subsidiary, descends into chaos, and people are finally calling him out. The social media backlash has been intense. Fans are directly tagging Silver, demanding answers on why he's allowing the WNBA to mishandle its most valuable asset. They're asking how the supposed progressive leader of basketball can stand by while female athletes endure this kind of treatment. And the kicker? Silver can't just hide behind WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert anymore. Yes, she runs the day-to-day, but everyone knows she reports to him. When a league has been losing money for 2 decades, finally gets a lifeline in the form of a superstar like Caitlin Clark, and then lets her get battered game after game. That's a leadership failure right at the top.
In the comment section right now, we see ticket prices dropping very fast. Folks, the get-in price, if you live in Indiana and you got nothing better to do, the get-in price, you might want to throw a couple 50, 60, 70 bucks just to get in to the WNBA All-Star Game, something to do.
The numbers don't lie. The WNBA has been losing money for nearly 20 years, bleeding around $20 million a year. That's NBA money, keeping the whole thing afloat. So when fans see Caitlin Clark getting targeted with dirty plays and refs letting it slide, they're demanding to know why Adam Silver is standing by and watching his investment get battered. What's really fueling the outrage is Silver's deafening silence. This is the same commissioner who's famous for speeches about social justice and player protection. Yet when it comes to actually protecting the WNBA's biggest star, he's nowhere to be seen. The hypocrisy here is so obvious, you could practically cut it with a knife.
And it looked like Caitlin Clark looked like she got a little hurt towards the end there. Is there any update on her injury?
No update. No, just felt a little something in her groin, so we'll get it evaluated and see what happens from there. Yeah, just kind of to follow up on that. Looked like she was kind of grabbing at her right groin area. Is that the concern? Yeah. If that's the one she was grabbing at, I don't know which one it was, but yeah, I mean, that's it.
Coach Stephanie White's handling of Caitlin Clark's injury has been a major failure. White claimed she only learned about Clark's injury the night before it was made public, despite fans spotting tape on Clark's leg during multiple games. Either the coaching staff is incompetent, or they're not telling the truth. Neither option looks good for a league overseen by Adam Silver. The incident during the Seattle Storm game perfectly captures what's wrong. Clark was clearly in pain, limping on the court, yet the coaching staff put her back in a game that was already decided. She collapsed in obvious discomfort, and everyone acted like nothing happened. This mirrors the earlier Di Carrington situation, where players could physically target Clark, like kneed in the abdomen, and not only do referees fail to call fouls, but the league pretends nothing occurred. Meanwhile, fans watch helplessly as their star gets targeted with no consequences for the aggressors. The broader injury numbers are staggering: 141 injuries across a league with only 179 players competing in 44 games. This is not typical wear and tear. This points to systemic problems in officiating and player management. Other WNBA stars like Asha Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, and Nafisa Collier have also suffered injuries, but none generate the same attention as Clark. Still, the pattern reveals a league-wide issue, not just a single targeted player. Head and neck injuries are particularly concerning, 57 recorded in just 2.5 seasons. In any other professional sport, this would trigger a serious investigation, but in the WNBA under Silver's leadership, it's shrugged off as business as usual. Silver's image as a progressive, player-focused commissioner is taking a massive hit. His brand emphasizes social justice and athlete protection, yet he's been largely absent when it comes to protecting female athletes in the WNBA. Media coverage is shifting, too. Even outlets that usually defend the WNBA are now criticizing officiating and player safety. When the Washington Post suggests the league should change its logo to a bruise, that's a PR disaster reaching all the way to Silver's office. Fans are connecting the dots with upcoming collective bargaining agreement negotiations. If players keep getting injured at this rate, the league gains leverage since injured players have less bargaining power, leading some to question if this pattern is intentional, which would be an even bigger scandal. Internationally, the damage is palpable. Clark brought global attention to women's basketball, yet now international fans watch her get physically targeted with zero protection. This is not the image the NBA wants to project as American basketball's global leader. Sponsors, too, must be questioning their investments. They signed on to support women's basketball, not women's MMA. When your marquee player constantly gets injured due to poor officiating, that's money wasted. Silver's silence is becoming increasingly damaging. In the NBA, he's quick to respond to controversies or player safety issues. But in the WNBA, he acts as if it's not his responsibility, despite literally being the boss of the commissioner. The contrast between how the NBA protects its stars and how the WNBA treats Caitlin Clark is glaring. NBA players get flagrant fouls called for far less contact. The disparity in officiating standards reflects poorly on Silver's leadership. Economically, this is a disaster. The WNBA finally gained momentum. Viewership up, attendance rising, new fans tuning in, but now all progress is at risk because the league can't protect its biggest star. This is a business failure that falls directly on Silver. Player safety protocols in the WNBA lag far behind the NBA. Medical staff, officiating, disciplinary processes all run on a smaller, less professional scale. Yet the injuries and violence are just as real. Clark's viral call-out of referees was a turning point. When family members of players start publicly criticizing the league, you know the situation is dire. Rebecca Lobo having to call out fouls on live broadcasts because refs won't do their jobs is embarrassing. The officiating problem is so obvious, even commentators feel compelled to highlight it. From a sports medicine perspective, the pattern of injuries is textbook. When one injury isn't allowed to heal properly, compensatory injuries follow. Clark's transition from a quad injury to a groin injury fits this pattern exactly. Timing makes it worse. The WNBA's biggest showcase, the All-Star Game, occurred without its biggest star due to injuries the league failed to prevent. Casual fans noticed this failure, damaging the league's reputation. Silver's response will define his legacy in women's basketball. He had a chance to demonstrate real leadership at a critical moment of mainstream attention, but instead he's overseeing a disaster undoing years of progress. The fan revolt on social media shows no sign of stopping. Every day, Clark sits out with injuries. More fans tag Silver demanding answers. This pressure is unprecedented, mixing sports, social justice, and international attention. The NBA is a global brand, and how the WNBA handles player safety reflects on the entire organization. This crisis is far from over, and Silver's leadership is on trial.